before we start the Buyer Tools webinar, this is being recorded, so you will get a recording of this afterwards. I'm hoping we can spend about 30 minutes or so talking about the tools that you have within your IQ office to really go ahead and help you build your business. And part of this, at the end of the day, at the end of the session, I am going to ask you to find some time on your calendar to really go in and start working on what you have available for your buyers. It's pretty really, it's going to be about how do I set up a Property Watch portal so that people can log into my website? How do I add people to a drip campaign? And how do I add category types? So without further ado, we're going to jump in. If you have any questions at any time, please feel free to ask. There's no such thing as a silly question. If you have the question, someone else probably has that question as well. So as you log into your IQ office, this is what your dashboard is going to look like. And you all can see, you've got your weekly to-do list. You can see it for today, for 7 days, for the next 14 days. What do you have on your plate? You've got a quick look at active links that you can use. And then you also have a recent contact activity gauge. And I do want to start by just looking at this recent contact activity gauge, because what this really does is it really jumps in and it tells you who of your contacts is active or changing behavior. So I can actually go in and I can see Gordon here, and I can click, and I can see what email he opened. I also can scroll down and see if someone has clicked on an email. So I can see that Rochelle, okay, Jamie, that Rochelle has actually clicked on an email, and when I open it up, it shows me a different email that I sent out to them. So this really gives you a gauge of who's doing what and what's going on. You also can log in and edit and see a contact. So if you click the 3 little lines on the left-hand side of this contact on your recent activity gauge and click that edit pencil, it's actually going to bring up the entire information sheet about that contact. So I can see here, you've got Cindy and Mike Hutton. As I scroll down, I can see they're not on any email campaigns, but I can see that they've viewed properties and that their last activity was viewing property. They've looked at 29 total. And if I click on this viewed property section, it displays everything they're looking at. So what's nice about this is, so Cindy and Mike, I met at an open house, and they are going to be moving to the Coeur d'Alene area in the next 6 to 9 months. And I said, hey, I'll set you up on a portal. I won't bother you. You can log in and look, and then just let me know if you need anything. So I can see that their price range is about $400,000, give or take $50,000 from that they're looking at things that have anywhere from 2 bedrooms to 5 bedrooms. And I now have a much better idea of what they're looking at and what they need. So I'll call and follow up with them, and I have an educated guess of what they're looking at. So I can see when they're visiting the website. I can see how many times they've logged into their portal. It's tracking everything they're doing. The other thing that happens on the right-hand side of this page is you can actually check for a social profile. And when it's checking for a social media profile, it's actually using this email address that you have on file. So know that that is where that's pulling from. If they do not have any email, if this email is not associated with their social profile, it's not going to pull that information. Does that make sense to everybody? Awesome, Lori. Can everybody else see my screen? Tawana says she can't see my screen. Lori and Marissa, Debbie and Dusty, can you see my screen? Okay. Tawana, refresh your screen and see if that is what's going on. Just click. Perfect. Thanks, Deborah. Tawana, just like click refresh on your browser. Sometimes that pulls it up. And then you can actually get in there. That's what I would do. And if that doesn't work, I would close everything out and reopen it up and see if that helps. Awesome. So that is what this recent contact activity gauge is. And what I like the most about this is I can actually scroll through. I know that it's the 5th of August today. I know that I have some campaigns that are all set to go out at the 1st of the month. And I really like to see, like, I can scroll down through here and I can see, okay, Tom Berg opened my activities, my August events calendar. Well, in my mind, I know that I haven't talked to him in some time. So I can actually then open Tom up right from here and I can just manually schedule a follow-up saying, okay, I know that today is busy. I'm catching up from my weekend. So I'm going to say, call Tom summer check-in. And I'm going to make this due for Wednesday. And I'm just going to say, you haven't talked. Ooh, if I can spell today. To Tom in a while. Give him a call. So and I typically check my recent activity gauge when I'm logging in on Mondays. It's just as a routine. I log in the morning. I look at what's going on. I go through this list. I see, okay, I've talked to them recently. I've talked to him recently. I've talked to him. Like, this isn't new activity. Oh, you know what? I haven't talked to Tom in a while. That's new activity. I need to schedule this out. I tend to work everything from my calendar here so that I know that I've got what I've got going on, when I've got it going on, and I'm not having to just guess on what's happening. Everybody feel good about the recent contact activity gauge? Are there any questions about that I can answer for any of you? That remember, there is no such thing as a silly question. If there are no questions, go ahead and type N or no in that chat box so I know we can move on to the next section. Awesome. Thanks, Kevin. Kevin took care of all of you. Perfect. So really what I want to jump into now is in your contacts and leads, what do you do when you get a new buyer or a new potential buyer? How do you start to really build that person in? And so what we're going to do is we're going to be in our contacts screen here. I can tell I'm in my contacts because it's highlighted here at the top. And we're going to just add a new contact. So I'm going to go in. I'm going to say maybe this source is family reunion. Also, I'm a horrible speller. Spell check is a beautiful thing. And so if you don't have spell check on your browser, there's also a tool called Grammarly that is fabulous as my tiny tip of the day. It goes in, it checks actually your spelling and your grammar as you're typing. And you just go in and you can say, okay, we're going to add the information. So I'm going to add Deborah, and her last name is Labadie, and I can add a display name. So if her name's Deborah, but she goes by Debbie, I could actually add this here. What's nice about that is when you pull you start to add marketing pieces and that whatnot, it will actually use the display name. But then for your reference, when you're writing contracts and things, you do have their legal name. And then you can go ahead and put in their email. So we're just going to put in an email. And a cell phone number. Oop, I don't have my number locks on. After you do that, we're also going to click save. Once you click save, you get all perfect. Deborah goes by Deb. You get all these additional options at the top, including one that says this contact is not assigned to an action plan. So what I like to do for everyone is give them a portal. I want people to stay on my website. So if I'm working with Dusty or Mary or Deb or Tawana, I want you to have a portal so you can log into my website or my company website at any time, and you're not going to be going to Zillow. That's my goal. My goal is to keep you on my website so that you're actually there searching and I'm providing a resource for you. So in order to do that, the easiest way I find to do this is to go over to this Property Watch button. And I can create a portal right here. So I'm going to create a portal. Here I'm going to actually create a user ID. It's going to automatically say user ID is your email, but if you want to change that, you can. I tend to use people's first and last names. That way when they call me and I'm out showing property, or I'm at a walkthrough, or I can't answer my phone and then they text me, they say, hey, I forgot my username. I know for everybody it's the same. So I can say, oh, hey, Deb, got your text. Your username is actually your first and last name. It's going to auto-generate a password so I don't have to worry about it. And then I'm going to say, yes, send a welcome email. So I can now see that it is working. If I need to edit that password, on the details page, about halfway down, there's this information. So I can say her information was Deborah, and her password was, I'm just making up a password. This is not a password that Deb uses. Now it's in there, I can see it. Now I can go in, and if I wanted to, I could create her a watch, but Deb's now got, so my contact, my buyer, Deb, now has access to log into my website. So this is what that looks like. If I'm here on my website, I can actually go in and I can sign into this property watch. Once I log in, it's going to say, welcome to your portal. Go ahead, you can create your first search. Don't forget that this is your agent here, right here on the left-hand side of your screen. So everything is branded. I know a lot of you are probably using your MLS, which is great. There's nothing wrong with using your MLS for these things. However, I also really do think that it is important to brand yourself. And if you have to brand yourself, I want you to go to my website. I want to get the information that you're doing. I want to know when you're opening my emails. I want to know when you're searching for properties. I want to know everything about what you're doing. So now the other thing this does is it gives your client the option to create their own search. So as real estate professionals, can we create searches for our clients? Yes, absolutely we can. However, I want to be of value to my clients and potential clients long before they're in the search process of searching for a home. And I believe that everybody is interested in what's happening in the real estate market. And I'm going to say, so if Deb comes into my open house, I'm going to say, hey, Deb, great to meet you. My name's Kelsey. She looks around. I say, awesome. Hey, where are you at in this stage? Oh, we're just really looking around, and I like to go and see how people decorate their houses, because I want to really update what I'm doing. I say, perfect. You know what? I can totally appreciate that. Do you want access to like log in and search the MLS so that you can just go in and see and look around without being bothered? 9 times out of 10, they say yes. Deb says, yep, I would love that. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have you sign in to my open house portal if I'm at an open house. If I'm in the grocery store, I just carry around a notebook with me everywhere I go, and I say, hey, okay, let me do this. Let me just get your email, and what's your cell phone number? And they say, oh, you want my cell phone number? I say, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set up a watch. Then I'm going to text you once I do it so that I know that it's working and you can get in and there's not any technology. And I said, that's what I'm going to use that for. Oh, perfect. The nice thing about that for me as an agent is now I have a phone number to check in on people, because people don't read your emails. I'm going to say 80% of the time they don't read your emails. 20% of your clients do read your emails. I, though, can go in and say, okay, I put them in. I created a property watch. And then when Deb goes in here to her portal and creates her first search, she can say, okay, I'm going to name this my dream home. I want residential. I think that I want to be in Hayden. I want to be in Hayden, Idaho, but I'll go city, Hayden, yep. And my price range, I'll look at I think my house is worth about 300,000 or 390 to maybe 410. So what is comparable to my house out there? And I know that I want at least 3 bedrooms and I want at least 3 bathrooms or at least 2 bathrooms. And the customer can put all this in. They choose if they want emails. Do I want status codes? No. Do I want price reductions? No. I do want open houses. And then I can click save. Now they have their search here. They can actually search right here and see all of it. So here's all the homes that match their criteria. But even better, underneath their property watch, you can see it. So you can see that they've put in this status, and on your home screen, underneath that recent contact activity gauge, you get notified that they're actually, they've gone in and they've logged into their portal and they've created a search. Any questions on that property watch search side of things and how to set it up? Do you want to go through it one more time? Where are you at? And right now what we did is we set it up from the consumer side. So we went to the home page, we logged in as a buyer, they set it up, they're doing it. I find that we all know that the clientele that we have now is savvy. They used to be reaching out to real estate agents at step 1 or 2 in this buying process because they didn't know what they didn't know. But they know, consumers know now what they want. They know they want to be empowered to go in and set it up themselves. They don't want to have to call you for everything. They want to reach out when they're ready. They want to be able to search the MLS without getting called by 100 real estate agents from Zillow. They want to go in and look. Let them go in and look. Provide value before they need it. Isn't that awesome, Deb? Lori, Mary, Jamie, Kim, Sarah, David, any questions on any of this? Again, we were in our contacts and leads section. We added a new contact in the upper right corner. Then we went in and on Property Watch, we created a portal account. It is, Lori, the goal is that it's user-friendly. What I like most about this is they say that it takes people anywhere between 7 and 12 times to see your face, have repeated information, and all of those things. You have to contact them between 7 and 12 times for people to even think that you're their person or say yes or no. So if I give you a portal and my face is here, and then you get an email from me and my face is there, and then I call you and my face is there, you're getting that repeated exposure to me that all of a sudden I become the familiar face that you know for real estate. Thank you, Joanna. So we're about 20 minutes in. There's just a couple other things I want to show you because I think that they're important. I just do want to make sure as we're going through that if you have any questions at all, you're feel free to ask them. So I can actually see here, we're back in Deb's information, and I can see at the top that this contact is not assigned to any action plans. So at the beginning, we talked about scheduling a manual follow-up here where I can go in and I can say, hey, I need to follow up on this specific date on, I know fair follow-up. Maybe you know that you have a client that has a child in 4-H or that rodeos or that is doing something like that, and you know it's an important weekend. You can schedule those manual follow-ups right here underneath schedule follow-up. However, you can also use action plans for your buyers, and it will alert you at the top if they're not assigned to an action plan. And you can just click this white button on the right hand side that says assign, And you can preview all the action plans that you have created as well as your company has created. So you can actually go in and I can say, okay, I need this person to be on a buyer action plan. Or maybe I just say, hey, this is an active client and it's a 60-day follow-up. So every 60 days, I want to follow up with this person. Once you click save, that blue bar at the top goes away and they're added to an action plan. You can find that underneath the actions tab. And I can see here, like I've got my fair follow-up in 17 days, but then I've also got my active client 60-day follow-up in 59 days. I can go in, I can complete this, I can edit this and say, hey, this is a 60-day follow-up. It's due on October 4th. I don't want to wait that long. I want to actually go to September 25th. And you can edit those days in the plan individually. When you edit the plans underneath the client, it does not affect the master action plan. Does that make sense? So if I'm in this action plan and I edit something, it does not affect anything underneath this action plan. It's only affecting this client. Kevin, you can, and I'll come back to that. To complete an action, you can either do it from your home screen. So I can actually be on my home screen and I can say, okay, I've got all of these things happening. I'm going to actually say I called Tom. I'm going to say we talked about summer. And I actually did make this call, so I do need to make these notes. Summer in the Flathead Valley. And how his wife, Patty, is doing. Kids were in town, and he travels starting week again. So here's your notes for this person. Here it is. Talked about summer in the Flathead Valley. His wife Patty's doing. Kids were in town. He starts traveling next week again. I can click save. What happens then is it asks me when I want to follow up with him again. So if this is a manual follow-up that I added, I can say, okay, I need to actually follow up with him in 2 weeks. Travel plans, set up coffee appointment. And I can schedule it. Then when I look at my 2 weeks, it's automatically scheduling that out. Again, what I did was mark this as done, made my notes. Oops, sorry, I clicked the wrong button here. I made my notes. I clicked save. And then if it's a manual follow-up that you added underneath this screen, it will ask you when you want to follow up again. If it is an action that is part of an action plan, it's not going to ask you what you want the next action to be, because as part of an action plan, it's automatically assigning it. I can go in and I can actually view clients. So I can view them by going to the contact screen. I can view them by clicking these little lines, or if they're in my to-do list, I can actually view them here. And you can always view your actions on this side. So I can see all my no plan items. I can see my online leads. So I've got a biweekly check-in. This is a repeating event. Once I complete one, it automatically assigns the next one. Same here, weekly check-in. I complete one, it assigns the next one. So you can complete actions from your main dashboard, but if you're in your contacts and leads platform, your dashboard, you can actually go in and you can say, okay, I need to complete some actions that are underneath this as well. A couple questions. So importing multiple contacts at once. Kevin, we will do that, I promise. I'm going to do a couple more things just in how you follow up with contacts, and then I'll show you how to do that. And Dusty said, what's the name of that grammar edit program? It's called Grammarly. I'll type it in the chat box. It's fabulous. I'm a horrible typist writer. It's just not my strong suit, spelling and grammar. However, Grammarly saves my tail. It edits like if you're typing your Facebook posts online, it edits those. If you're typing emails, it edits those. It's wonderful and it's free. Cool. So the last thing I want to touch on just quickly before we import our contacts is this. Everybody likes free, Deb. I can actually log tasks right from this screen. So if I call Deb, I can actually put my notes about call here. And it's going to actually start tallying things that I'm doing. So these buttons are clickable. So if I'm going through and just logging information, good question, Lily. I'll come back to that too. I can actually go in and I can say, okay, I need to email this person. It automatically brings out that email. I can text. I can actually say, I'm logging this text message. The reason this says send message from this device is that your IQ platform works on your mobile device. So you can actually be in your IQ office on your phone, type your message, say send message from this device, and it's going to use your phone to send out that message. It's going to open up your text messages. It's going to log it. You're going to be good. Or I can just say this is a log entry, where I could just type what I texted in. Underneath your actions buttons, you've got a couple really great options. So you can send an email out. You can add them directly to a campaign right here. So if I want to add this person to a monthly gardening tip email campaign, I can do that. Again, I went to actions, add to campaign, and I just added them to that campaign and clicked save at the bottom of the screen. You also can go in and add a voice notification. So if your company is using the number on the sign that people can call and get automated information through your IQ office, that's a question for your office manager. You can actually say, hey, I want to get an alert if they call on a sign. You can add a note. You can manually add an action, or you can change a status. So that quick action button is really helpful as well. So Lily, did you see where I said actions and send an email? And it automatically is pulling my email signature from my profile. So if you want your email signature to pull up like this one is, you actually need to go up into your profile. So click on your name in the upper right-hand corner, click on profile, and about halfway down, keep going, there's an email signature. And you can make a custom email signature, which means you edit all of this. Or you can click on email signatures and choose from a template. Or if you created one. So I can say, okay, I like this gray one, click save. It automatically puts all my information in. So again, to get there, I went to my name and to my profile, and I scrolled to the bottom of the screen. Once you do that, when you're emailing people from the system, your email signature automatically shows up. So how do you import all of your contacts in? I just have to quickly stop my screen share, and I'm going to restart it. And I'll come back to that question, Dusty. I'm going to share my whole screen with you because there's pop-ups that happen. So this might be a little bit blurry. I apologize. If I share my whole screen with you, it's just really large and I can't change the resolution, unfortunately. So on the left-hand side of your screen, you have this button called Customer Relations. And when you click on Customer Relations, you actually can go into Import Contacts. When you click Import Contacts, it's going to pop open another screen that looks like this. And I'm just going to share that smaller screen now. So you've got this wizard that opens, and then you click next. All you're going to do is you're actually going to go in, you're going to choose a file. So I'm going to go into, I know I've got a contacts file in here. And I'm going to put my contacts file in. And I'm going to say, okay, they're importing into my contacts. I'm the owner. I click next. Now what I'm going to do, and I'm going to make this bigger so you can all really see it, is I'm going to match my columns up. So I can see here that I've got a name, a given name, an additional name, and a family name. These at the top, this is what your file is saying the content is. This is where you're going to import it to. So I'm actually going to say import to. This is going to be their display name. This is their first name. This is their last name. There's no information in those columns. And you just scroll through. So I'm going to get to a place where it says, okay, this is a notes. Yep, I want that to import to notes. If there's a photo, I can say, okay, I would like this to import to my notes. If there's a group name, maybe this is the contact type. If there's an email type, email value. So I'm going to say email value, but I want you to ignore the email type. I want you to ignore the phone type, but I do want this to be their cell phone number. And you go across all of these values and you match up all of these columns. So all the columns that you want imported, you just go through and you, yep, you put it all in. Then you click next. When you do that, it's going to give you a summary. There's 8 fields that are importing. You're importing a total of 628 people, and you're skipping 1 line. Then you click this next button, and it automatically imports them in. I actually don't want to import these into this, so I'm not going to do it. But you click next, it's going to say, awesome, importing, then you click finish. Does that make sense, Kevin? Again, to get there, we went to customer relations and import contacts. Dusty asked, how can you change a lead to a contact? And the answer to that, Dusty, is you can't. So a contact means that they're your person, they're coming in and you're manually adding them to the system, okay? A lead means it's coming from your website or the company website, and that's how they're coming in. In the difference in a contact versus a lead, if I open up a contact, you see here where I have a status and there's no status for this contact. I don't have to have a status code for my contacts. For any lead that comes into the system, there is a status code. It also has all the routing information on there because it came from your website. The only difference between a lead and a contact is this. A, you have to have a status. So you have to have either, and these all are dependent on what your company has. So I've got all that information here. I cannot not have a status. I also can't delete company leads. So those are for most companies. So that's the only difference. You have to have a status for a lead, and you can't delete company leads. Your contacts are your people. They don't have to have a status. You don't have to keep them updated. but leads come in from your website or the company website, the contacts are your people that you have. If you want to see everyone on your one page, you just go to this leads and contacts page on the first page. So Dusty, you can't, but anything you can do with a contact, you can also do with a lead. And vice versa. I'm sorry that that's the answer. That depends on your company rules, Dusty. That's a question for your office manager. Because for every company, what happens if you mark a lead as dead is different. Other questions? So Dusty, I would just go to your office manager and say, hey, if I mark a lead as dead, what happens to this lead? Do they stay in my contacts? Do they get rerouted to the office as a dead lead and taken out of my system? It really just depends on your company. Those are rules that your manager set up, and they're different for all companies. All right, so you're welcome, Lori. We have been going for about 37 minutes now. I find that 40 minutes is really the time when everybody starts to lose their attention span. So what I really want to know is, A, do you have any questions? B, when are you going to go in this week? What day and time is going on your calendar right now to go in and start working on your buyers and importing your contacts in and adding them to action plans or adding manual follow-ups so that you can start to work your circle? What day and time works for you where you're going to spend 20 minutes working on your contacts in IQ? As you're doing that, I just want to mention one thing. If you are working on your contacts and you say, hey, I'm going to go in and I am going to add everybody that I have to an action plan, I highly recommend that you do not go in and add everybody to an action plan on the same day. I've got 298 contacts and leads in the system, and if I add all 298 of these people to an action plan on the same day, it means all my follow-up actions that are due on that action plan are due on the same day. So I recommend adding 10 people, 10 to 25 people a day to an action plan. Awesome. Put it on your calendar. If you don't put a day and time on your calendar to work on your contacts, you're never going to do it. That's half the battle in this, right? Is going in and doing what you need to do. There is a quick survey as well that's going to be emailed out after this session. I appreciate all your feedback. The way that we get better, the way that we really create content that works for you all is through those emails that we get saying, hey, this is what training I'd like to see. Awesome. I'm glad that a few of you are going to work on this. Dusty, you're going to get emailed the recording. So the recording will be emailed to you. Really good question. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, no problem. So you're going to get an email copy of this recording. It also will be posted on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel, if you go to YouTube and you actually search for Realistic Support, we have a YouTube channel. All of our webinars are posted here. So everything is posted here on this YouTube channel. I will go ahead and put that link in the comments box for you. You can click on it and it won't take you out of the screen. We also have a Facebook page. And you can join us on Facebook. It's underneath Realistic Users. And all of our webinars are posted here as well. Yes, Kevin, there is. If you want to see our upcoming training as well, you can actually go to showtime.zoho.com/profile realistic. Oh, don't give it a www. Sorry, my silly computers. And you can find all of our upcoming training here as well. So I'm putting all of those links in that chat box. I'll hang on the line so that you have a couple minutes to actually click through and open those up on your browser. Thank you, Teresa.